Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. This might be your first time joining me, so let's talk about it. I wanted to make this video because I recently posted this which was like a huge, like a gigantic, I feel like, step for me, just because, as you can see all of my thighage and, you know, everything. And I, for the most part, have been always very insecure about my body. But as I've gotten older, I've learned, or I'm learning, to be body positive, and that's from the age of 4 until about 22. I want to say I battled with self-hatred. I started hating myself. It started with the color of my skin, because I was obviously still in preschool, so very young, but I knew at that age that lighter skin or lighter complected individuals were more, I guess, acceptable or considered beautiful. I had cousins that were lighter complected than I was, and it was always like, oh, they're so cute, and I just never received that or felt that. So I automatically assumed, because I was darker skinned, that I wasn't beautiful. And so I remember at like 4, I had this dream. I remember wanting to be light skinned and wanting to have like really long, curly, flowy, like, what do you call it, like 4B hair, like, or 4A or 4B, that was like super like curly and like more like wavy than it was like kinky, like my hair's always been. And so I remember wanting that really bad, and I remember, like, I guess I wanted it so bad that I had a dream about it. And in this dream, I went to the mirror and I was lighter skinned with long curly hair. And I remember waking up from that dream and thinking, oh my God, like in my mind I thought that's what I looked like now. I immediately could not separate the fact that I had just had a dream, so I thought this is what I looked like. And I remember getting up and going to the mirror and seeing my normal self, like what I actually looked at, like I seen the reflection of that staring back at me, and I remember being disappointed, like sad and confused as to why I didn't look the same way in the mirror in my dream. And so at that point is when I began to self-hate, and that lasted, I mean, as I got older, it only deepened, and then I began to, I guess, come out of my shell as I got a little bit older, like in my, like, I don't know, you would say like maybe middle school. I don't even know if it was that late, but I started to come more out of my shell, so I became more of myself. So if you know me personally, you know that I'm super expressive and passionate and loud and like wild and all of those things, and kind of crazy a lot of bit, whatever. And I started to kind of live that out, especially like, just obviously I talk a little bit louder, I laugh a little bit louder, all that fun stuff. But I remember being talked badly about because of those things, like, you're too loud, just being told those, you're too loud, you talk too much, this, that, and I internalized those things. And so I then went from not only hating the color of my skin, but then I started to hate my personality. I started to hate the way I behaved and how I was. And then in my, I guess, more so preteens, you know, throughout elementary school, I started to gain weight. I started to pick up weight, and obviously that quickly turned into being talked about, being told that I was too fat or too much weight, all these things. So then I began to, on top of like not liking my skin complexion, not liking my personality, I also just began to hate my body all the way around. So I just, by the age of probably, I want to say 9 or 10, I didn't like anything about myself. And so I I didn't think or believe that I was beautiful. And that lasted all throughout even teenage years. So it wasn't until like 25 and I liked this guy and I wanted him to like me back, right? Like he to me was like so good looking, and I needed him to like me back. Long story short, that for me sparked a moment in time where I started to realize that I didn't want so much, like, yeah, you may like these guys, whatever, but like what your need to have them like you back is more so that you can be validated, so that you can then feel loved, so that you can, and if they tell you that you're pretty, if they tell you that you're beautiful, then that must mean it's true, instead of knowing that for myself. And so it was at that point that when I realized, like, I don't just like this guy because I like him. I like need him to like me back, or want him to like me back, or want his attention, because that would then validate me. And when that all hit, which was very ugly, I'm not gonna lie, that was such a moment for me where I didn't like that. Like, I'm like, I need to fix this, because it had become a pattern for me where I would go through these seasons, I would like these guys, and I needed them to like me back because I needed to be validated. I needed them to tell me that I was pretty, because then it meant it was true. I needed them to tell me how great I was and like accept me for my personality and all that I was. And there were times where I would like guys and I would be like, I don't think he likes a girl that's like loud and talkative and, you know what I mean, expressive. So I would tone myself down, like dumb myself down to try to get their attention. These are the things that I would do, right? For guys that never end up liking me in the first place. We never end up being anything, just was a waste of time and energy. And it wasn't until I was 25 years old when I started to realize that there was something in me that absolutely 100% without a shadow of a doubt needed to change. And it was in here. It was dispelling every lie that I had been told, that I wasn't beautiful, that I wasn't, I wasn't light enough, that I was too big, that I was too loud, that I was too this and I was too that. And it was at that point when I set out on the journey to wholeheartily love myself and love myself well, without needing the validation of another person, of another man, of a man, or anything like that. And it's been a crazy, beautiful, hard, amazing journey, honestly. Does this mean that because I started this journey, does this mean that all of a sudden all of my insecurities disappeared? I'd never feel insecure? No, not true. But now I realize I can recognize when I'm feeling insecure, and then I can process through that. Why do you feel that way? What lie is it that you're believing that has you feeling this type of way? And I can process through it better, and get back to a place of like solid ground and being like, Siobhan, you are popping, you're lit, you're beautiful, you're smart, your personality is bomb, your personality attracts people and they love it, and like just being able to fully embrace myself. And so yeah, my encouragement to you, I guess, in this is like, if you are struggling with loving yourself, if you're struggling with accepting your body, whatever way that is, it's a moment in time for you to self-reflect. And here's the idea that I had. Here's the thing that really helped me throughout this journey of learning to love myself, is I began to understand the love that God had for me. And like in that, he made zero mistakes. Like not one single mistake did he make in creating me. Like he literally made me so, I'm gonna use the word perfect. We all have flaws, but he made me so perfect. He made zero mistakes. And one of the things that has helped me is realizing that everyone has an opinion. And so for a long time, I allowed the opinion of people to become my truth that I lived out. Instead of digging deep and finding my truth from within and living that out, I would live other people's opinion. So someone would say, oh, she's too dark, she's too fat, she's too loud, she's too that. And that wasn't just an opinion to me, that was the truth, the absolute truth. And then I got to a stage in my life when I realized, actually, I get to decide, what words hold weight in my life and which words do not. And I started to push away the lies and the things that people said, and all of those things, all of the damaging things that I allowed to come in and take root in my life. And it affected the way I lived my life. It affected whether or not I loved myself. Obviously I didn't love myself well, because I went through actual hell around the idea of like loving myself. I just thought, I'm never gonna measure up, I'm never gonna be enough, I'm never gonna be pretty enough. And I remember having these questions of like, I remember asking God, like, God, how can I just turn on the switch in my mind that I can then just believe that I'm beautiful? Like, I can then just believe that like I'm enough. I can then just believe that like my personality is amazing. How can I turn like a light switch? I need it to come on, because I'm tired of carrying the lies. I'm tired of carrying the hate for myself. And I realized that it all boiled down to like just a choice. Like, every day we get up and we have the decision and we make the choice. So I like to think about like, if you're in a marriage, right? And there are days where like your spouse may get on your nerves, but you don't necessarily, hopefully in your marriage, you don't necessarily stop loving that person because they're on your nerves. You still choose, because love is a choice. It's not an emotion. This person in spite of. And so I had to begin to look at myself in the same way. Look at myself in the mirror, whether that's my body, my complexion, my personality. I had to look at myself deep within myself and say, in spite of all of the things that I may not necessarily, I don't want to use the word like, but all the things that for me, like really just like about my body, all the things about my body, like my cellulite, my stretch marks, and my this, all the things I don't necessarily like, I still choose to love myself. I still choose. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you are, like I said, on this journey, not really knowing how to love yourself, still trying to figure those things out, I promise you, it starts with making a choice to love yourself. Every day you wake up, if you need to look in the mirror and you need to look yourself square in the face and say, I love you, then that's what you do. But it really does boil down to making the choice to just love yourself on a daily basis. And insecurities are going to pop up. Like I said, all the insecurities don't just go away because you decided that you're going to choose to love yourself. It's just in those moments when the insecurities do arise, you still have to look at yourself and go, I choose to love myself. And you tell those insecurities that they can kick rocks, because you don't have time for it. Because you only have one life to live. So why not live your best life? And I feel like a part of living your best life starts with loving yourself fully. Your personality, your body, your complexion, your whatever. Love yourself and love yourself well. So that's it. That's the video for this week. Another video in the books. You guys, I'm starting to have fun with this. At first I was like hella frustrated, and now I'm like, I'm just having fun. So thank you guys so much for joining me this week. Hopefully you like this video. Please do not forget to rate or like, comment, and subscribe. Come and join the home team. Yeah, that's it. I will catch you all next Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Deuces.